Coach Jack Daniels of the Boxers Trainers Channel. And welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. And today we are having an energized show, right? Today is fight day, fight week, fight weekend, whatever you want to call it, right? They got fights today. I'm talking about world-class event. Today we focusing on one particular fight, right? And that happens to be, I was listening to one of the press conferences of Fundora or Keith Thurman versus Fundora, right? And I really noticed something in Keith Thurman's behavior for the first time. Now, he always does this, but I really didn't gravitate toward it and pay any attention, realistically speaking, right? But today, I listened to Keith Thurman, right? And the energy that Keith Thurman was exuding, right, is unquestionable when it comes to his intentions. And his intention is to beat Sebastian Fundora and take Fundora's 154-pound junior middleweight title, right? I mean, at first it was like, I was kind of like leaning both ways. It was 50-50 fight, right? Both boxers had a lot of good attributes. But at the end of the day, I have to take notice to the fact that one's energy in a fight can make the world of difference. Yeah, Sebastian Fundora has a lot of positive attributes in the sense that his jab, for instance, could dominate the fight if he is capable of dictating the tempo of the event based on using his jab correctly, right? His height, his reach, right? A good, determined boxer can use those three attributes if he has the ability and the skill set to be able to do that. He can dominate the fight. Those three components are major components when it comes to being able to dictate the tempo of your opponent's movement. From Sebastian Fundora has all the positive components necessary to beat back Keith Thurman. But, the old proverbial but, right? And I'm the type that really don't like to use but, right? Because it leads to explanations and excuses and things of the sort, right? But I have to say that Keith Thurman's energy is so, representative of wanting to win that in my opinion, exuding that type of energy pre-fight is more likely than not the answer to Fundora's position when it comes to all the attributes that he has. That could be alone the attribute, the thing that compels Keith one-time Thurman, right, to dominate Sebastian Fundora. I'm talking about his energy, right? We all know that Keith Thurman talks a lot. That's his thing. That's what he does, right? But you could also take from that Keith Thurman has a certain tenacity and compassion for the sport of boxing, right? And in certain instances, when you have that type of belief in yourself, and belief in your abilities, right, coupled with the fact that you have an energy that is overwhelming, that, my friend, can be enough to to catapult you to victory. Keith Thurman in my opinion, is going to pull this off. I just, you know what I'm saying? I believe that one's belief in himself, that energy alone, right, can possibly be the antidote to all of the beautiful and wonderful attributes Sebastian Fundora brings to the table. Right? Let's do um, the in the backdrop to both these fighters' positions, right? Sebastian Fundora is 27 years of age. He's 6'6", 6'6", with a 79.9-inch arm reach. He's a left-hander. That's another attribute, right? A stable, good left-hander, right, is always going to be a problem, right, to a right-hander. It's just the equilibrium of right versus left will pose a problem, right? And Fundora can use his attributes. I mean, look, let me say this. Sebastian Fundora is a damn good boxer. He can box. You know what I mean? He has a loss to his credit. So does Keith Thurman. I'm not going to use that as an instrument to deny Sebastian Fundora's ability to potentially beat Keith Thurman. But again, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say it again. For Sebastian Fundora just don't have that energy necessary to catapult him to victory in this instance. Keith Thurman is exuding energy, that type of energy. You know what I mean? You see how he has me fired up? He has that type of energy, man. And I just don't think that Sebastian Fundora is going to be able to stand up under that type of energy. That's the thing. You know what I mean? Certainly, Sebastian Fundora can box. Certainly, Sebastian Fundora has all these positive attributes. You know what I mean? But it is the Lone Ranger of Keith Thurman's energy that's going to catapult him into victory. Look, Sebastian Fundora has 23 wins, 15 by knockout. He was stopped once. He has one loss, no draws. Right? He is ranked, I think, for the Ring magazine, like number 1 or 2. You know what I mean? We're not even going to trip on Keith Thurman's his rankings, because at this juncture, if he don't win, they're unimportant, inconsequential, right? But Keith Thurman is 36 years of age. That's another negative. He's 5'7". That's another negative. He's 68.9. He has a 68.9-inch arm reach, right? That means that Sebastian Fundora has a foot reach over Keith Thurman. Now, look, y'all probably said, how the hell is he going to work that magic? You know what I'm saying? Keith Thurman to the point where that jab is not going to keep him out of sorts. You know what I mean? How could Keith Thurman get up under that foot-long reach, right? It's impossible, normally. But I think and believe, way down on the inside, that the Lone Ranger of Keith Thurman's energy is going to catapult him into victory. You know what I'm saying? When you got that type of energy, right, your defense, offense, you know what I'm saying, is impeccable, right? Because your whole philosophy is that damn energy. You know what I mean? Hey, look, I'm the type of boxer, right, that know what it means to have that energy, that belief system, that compassion for the sport, where it will catapult you. Man, look here, man. I done told y'all once before. Me, I was undefeated because I rolled and walked with that type of energy. You know what I mean? I believed in myself. I got in the gym and worked my ass off to get to the point where I felt that I was unstoppable. You know what I mean? Keith Thurman had that same type of energy. You know what I mean? Okay, yes, possibility. Keith Thurman could lose. I mean, that's the law of human nature, right? He could lose. But for me, it's going to take a lot for Sebastian Fundora to put Keith Thurman in a position where he's going to zap that energy from Keith Thurman. That's what he got to do. That's what Sebastian Fundora has to do in order to beat Keith Thurman. He has to take away that energy, and I don't think he can do that. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with his skill set, because he got a skill set, good one. But I just believe, you know what I mean, from my perspective as a boxer, as a person that knows what it feels like, that be rolling with that type of energy. You know, I know how that feels. You know what I mean? I mean, when you got that type of energy, you basically, and you probably think the old man is nuts, but you actually become indefensible. I said it. I said, look, let's do a little analysis, right? Floyd Mayweather Jr. has proved that he was invincible. 50-0. No losses, right? Retired, 50-0, no losses. So that has to suggest and say that Floyd Mayweather Jr. was invincible. Common sense analogy. You know, some people psychologically put themselves in the mindset that they're invincible. Hey, I thought I was invincible. Hey, I never got whooped or dropped or beaten in the ring. You know what I mean? I mean, you don't really have to use me as an example because my record wasn't that great, but my ability was. Same thing applies to Floyd Mayweather Jr. In this instance, same thing applies to Keith one-time Thurman. Keith has 31 wins, 23 by knockout. One loss, and that was to Manny Pacquiao. Never been stopped, no draws, right? Actually, Keith is ranked number 8 by the WBC. Sebastian, was ranked number 3 by Ring Magazine. And look, if you don't know, the Ring Magazine is the prestigious ranking body, right? The rest of these cats, WBC, WBO, IBF, WBA, okay. But the Grandmaster, when it comes to ranking boxers, is a Ring Magazine, if you didn't know. Now you know. But let's get back to the particulars, man. Age, Fundora. Height, Fundora. Reach, a foot, Fundora. Stance, Fundora with the left hand. I'm going to give this to Fundora as well, right? The win ratio are about the same when it comes to wins loss. They both have one loss, right? But that's not the thing that motivates this pundit, this ex-boxer, this journalist, right, to say and believe that Keith Thurman is going to win this fight today, man. And shout out. It's a wonderful thing that Keith Thurman got me up and made me feel like I'm feeling there. I'm feeling animated. I'm feeling overwhelmed. And I'm feeling pumped up and juiced up. You know what I'm saying? Keith Thurman did that, right? Keith Thurman did that in the way that he delivered the message to his opponent, to the world. How he was about to walk over and chop down the tallest man in boxing, I believe, right? Sebastian Fundora, the Tower of Inferno. Tower in Inferno, that's burning. But we talking about his height, right? Keith Thurman said he gonna chop him down like some wood. Oh, that's a hell of a thing, a hell of a way to feel about yourself especially as a 37-year-old boxer, right? To have that type of belief system is amazing. And look, now, this also goes to a learning moment, right? For the world. If a 37-year-old man provided the fact that he becomes victorious. And if he doesn't, it's still a good learning experience for the world, right? You got to believe in yourself, man. You know what I'm saying? The government, you know what I'm saying? Your mom and your father, your family, can't nobody make you believe in yourself like you can. And that's the problem with a lot of us. We don't believe in ourselves like Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman believes in himself. And I'm saying, look here, man. If Keith Thurman wins, and I believe that he will, let this be a learning lesson to the world about the fact that you can do whatever it is you believe you can do. And I believe, people, shout out to Keith Thurman for putting me in this believable moment, right? That Keith Thurman is going to dominate Sebastian Fundora. Okay, now we got a lot of other fights that's interesting today that I really don't have to go back over on the air, but they are worth mentioning, right? Moses E. Tauma versus Jermaine Franklin, right? Welterweight. This is British boxing, right? But let me say, and I've said this time and time again, but I don't think y'all be paying me no attention when I say this, right? The European boxers, you know what I'm saying, fight hard as hell. Countries like Lithuania, Russia, Germany, man, I don't even. Actually, I shouldn't even be mentioning this country with these countries because this country tops all of them when it comes to boxers, fighters that get in the gym and work their ass off to be a challenge, right? I mean, man, I can't really put a country next to them that is that overwhelming when it comes to the win column, want to win, right? And right now, that is the war-torn country of damn. Oh my God. Oh. Wow. That is crazy, but I gotta be right. I gotta get the information correct. Hold up, y'all. What countries are at war? That is not doing it. That is not doing it. Oh my God, that is crazy. They're at war. The country that I'm speaking of is at war with Russia. What country is at war with Russia? This thing is, for some reason, isn't working. But y'all know who I'm talking about. What country? Anybody in the chat want to speak up? Help the old man out this morning? Damn. A shout out to the chat, by the way, right? Appreciate y'all's support. But, because somebody else made mention of this. But look, I mean, you can tell by how dominating they are by their interest in the war with Russia. I am too persistent this morning. Ukraine, people. Ukraine. The country that slipped my mind. I don't know how in the hell that happened because I love the country of Ukraine. Excuse me, of Ukraine, right? Because those dudes are serious warriors. They ain't soldiers, they warriors, right? When you have a country, a small country that has a vested interest in toppling one of the most sophisticated countries in the world, you got to give them credit as being dogs. You know what I mean? Their ambition is like dogs. They want to win. You know what I mean? And they're not throwing no towels in, talking about uh, get surrendered. None of that, right? I love the Ukraine. You know what I mean? I love the Ukraine because it motivates me as a human being, as an older cat in the world that has been through a massive amount of wars. I've been, I started off in wars in, actually, I was born during the Korean War, but I took notice to the Vietnam War. And that war, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't take recognition to this, right? It was the Vietnam War that actually catapulted countries like China into success, right? Into becoming major financial successes in the world. I mean, on the world scheme of things, in the world scheme of things, right? China is one of the global, and you're not going to hear your country say this. They're not going to say this, but China is actually the global giant of the world, right? I mean, finances, technology, army. No, no, I'm not. I'm not pro China. I'm not pro American either because America be doing some effed up. Don't start, right? I'm making mention to some facts that I think that I should share when it comes to history, right? China is the superpower of the world. Love it or hate it, that's a fact, right? But you'll never hear the United States make mention of that, right? And you'll never hear the United States be critical of China. If it is, it's just propaganda. They ain't gonna do a damn thing. Then I bet they won't do. I bet you they won't go into China like they went into Iran, like they went into Venezuela. You know what I'm saying? The Donald Trump. Hey, cut it. Just stop it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'll get energized with telling the truth, right? That's what I do. Tell the truth. You know, and that's all this conversation is about. Uh, Giving you guys some history that you otherwise wouldn't get. Now, let's talk about a little bit about uh, Moses E. Tauma versus Jermaine Franklin, right? Good fight. Good fight. Both of these cats have a compelling desire to win, but it is in that arena, you're still only going to have one victor. And I believe that youngster, E. Tauma, no, Moses E. Tauma is just a little hungrier than Jermaine Franklin, right? Jermaine Franklin is, I mean, he's not a pushover. I mean, it's not going to be like, you know what I mean, a cakewalk for E. Tauma, right? But this is going to be a good fight. And look, I can't wait. I can't. This for days like this, you know what I mean? I get up and piddle around here, keep things cleaned up. And and look here, I'm going to say this again, y'all. I'm 76 years old. And a shout out to me, man. Because it's a lot of people that can't get about to being at 76 years old. It's a lot of people that can't do what I'm doing at 76 years old, right? And I'm still getting around, making moves, going here. I gotta get my ass to Vegas. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get actively involved in the boxing in Vegas, right? I got some people there, but I'm kind of waiting on them, you know what I'm saying, to say, man, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Get your butt on the plane, come on down for a couple of days and let's do this. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? But until then, I'm gonna keep pushing this train. I'm gonna keep pushing this line. I'm going to keep on being the soldier that God has created to be, right? To be able to come out here on this platform and tell you the truth about boxing and tell you the truth about world events, right? Because that's exactly what Jack Daniels of the Boxers Trainers Channel does at 76 years old. How about that? How about that, James? It's over. It's over. It was a time. Look, it was a time when I actually had a dance group. Yeah, and I was actually pretty good on my feet. Couldn't sing as good as I could dance, right? But we made it work. And in fact, tidbit, tidbit of history, right? Tony, right? The group that I was in was actually a part of the mentorship of Tony's oldest brother, which is now deceased, Al Wiggins, right? And look, Al is one of the few cats. They're cats. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't know about that type of jargon, jargon, right? Cat. You cats, right? That's you know what I'm saying. That's what back in the day we call each other cats. Hey cat, what's going on, man? How you doing? Right. But today y'all got some other oh, bad language that you choose to call one another. But anyway, back in the days, Al had a group with which is Tony's oldest brother, right? He had a group with Little Joe and the Chateau. I had a group with Tiny and the Imperials. One of the Imperials was Tony's brother, also Randall Wiggins, right? He was the vocalist, and he could dance too. We all could dance, but I'm just giving y'all a conversation, right, about my past, right, and from there, from then to now, I would like to say that I have had a damn good life. There's been some rocky roads, right? But overall, for 76 years, I've lived a gracious life. You know what I mean? And I would hope that you guys out there, right, find a way to have a gracious life as well, right? Grow old gracefully. Put yourself in a position where you can have some type of life worth living for, that you can create some type of legacy to leave behind. You know what I mean? I think that's important. I think that we should all want to leave something to our young, right? As a gesture of being a good parent. You know what I mean? That's what we all need to do. So I'm going to go get ready and go and get me some boxing. You know what I mean? I appreciate y'all in the chat. I appreciate y'all in the chat, right? And I appreciate the support. That being said, it's Boxing Day. I gotta get into some boxing, right? I'll probably be back on. Okay, Korea. That's a good. A love Korea, man. That's another state that I love, and I'm not gonna say anything bad about the North or the South, right? I mean that's just me, right? I love people. I love what they stand for, right? And I have no qualms about either side, North or South, right? That being said, hit that subscription button, hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section, and let me know if y'all think that we should have an open dialogue on air, on the line, online, right, through the chat. Y'all come on with me and have some discussions about boxing. If you like that, say yes in the chat. Later.